Scaling down this tunnel is not for the faint-hearted. I was told the distance from this point to the end of this tunnel is about 300 feet before we find yet another tunnel stretching several kilometers further.
Kutoka hapa mpaka chini inaweza kachukua 30 minutes. Kwa kwetu sisi ambao ni wazoefu. Labda kwa nyie wageni, labda kwenda mpaka kule chini inaweza kuchukua hata 45 minutes.
According to the miners, women are not allowed into these mines, no matter how confident they are. And any man willing to venture into gold digging must be vetted.
You must register us na ujue unatokana wapi. Tujue mahali unatoka. Assistant chief wako.
A roll call is carried and proper checks done to establish if the miners are fit and healthy. I took up the challenge and put on gumboots and a helmet ready for the task.
James.
Step by step, we scaled down the tunnel using this ladder. As I keenly watched how everyone else was doing it before I could make my next step. This ladder only took us about 20 feet deep before we found another tunnel slanting about 45 degrees. We are told these are support beams built over 8 years ago to hold the walls of the tunnel from collapsing. But the beams seemed old and weak, with the rusty bolts and nuts holding them together. Water was dripping from the walls above as the tunnel became darker and colder, making the steps very slippery. Any slight slip will sound the death knell.
Kutoka hapa tulipo inaweza kawa 100 and something. Labda imagine inaweza kawa kitu kama 150 mpaka kwenye tundu ilipo.
The miners rely on these pipes running up to the ground level to pump oxygen into the tunnel.
Kuna compressor ambayo ndio unaiona hii hapa inatuletea hewa mpaka ndani. Na iko direct inasafirisha mpaka huko ndani.
Suddenly everybody ahead of me stopped and our guide told us to stop. There was a problem. At this point, my heart skipped, not knowing what to expect.
Hatuwezi kuvuka mahali hapa tumefika kulingana kwamba maji ni mengi na tatizo imesababisha maji ni pampu yetu kupata mchafuko wa matope, hivyo tunatoa pampu yetu kwenda kusafisha.
The point we had reached about 150 meters deep into the tunnel, an underground river had already overflown.
Sasa hapo ndio tunapitaga tukienda mbele. Tunapiga maji yanaisha.
The water had to be pumped out using an underground pump to the ground before allowing anyone to cross the river. But the pump seems to have developed a mechanical problem. The miners suddenly decided to pull out the immersed pump to have it checked and repaired before continuing with their descent. However, some brave men who knew the tunnel well swam through the water that had completely blocked our way to continue to the other side of the tunnel. We had hit a dead end. We were forced to retreat to safety. This gold mine was closed down in 1939 by the original British owner called Rosterman after realizing the gold deposit had reduced significantly. However, he only sealed the main entrance to the mine and left some underground tunnels uncovered. In 2015, residents of the area discovered the cemented seal and broke it open, revealing the tunnels of gold.
Tumefungua tu ile shaft ya mzungu. Na ukiingia hapo ndani ni shaft zenye ziko njia zenye ziko ni za wazungu. So inahitaji courage, uwe na courage ya kutembea ndani.
However, the amounts of gold found here are very little, but the miners hope to strike it big one day.
Ile jiwe ya gold ikiisha, tunafungua nyingine.
For their own safety while inside the tunnel, they use these huge blocks of timber to reconstruct the safety beams to support the walls of the tunnel.
Ndio kama hivi alivyofanya mzungu unavyoona hapa. Ina maana kwamba hizi mbao zinakuwa za kuzuia juu ili kusudi isianguke impige mtu.
However, when they began opening up these gold mines again, the miners realized some underground tunnels had dangerous chemicals.
Kuna milango ingine mzungu alikuwa anazipa na anaweka chemicals ndani, ambapo hiyo mlango mkifungua hiyo chemical inamuua.
So they only follow tunnels that are confirmed safe from dangerous chemicals.
Kuna milango karibu 7 hivi. Angalau sisi tunafuata tu milango 2 peke yake. Na ukienda across you'll walk in kilometers. Sio tena sio meters. Sababu ni shaft mrefu sana yenye ilikuwa ya mzungu alikuwa anatembelea ndani.
The miners have put up stringent rules to keep away the bad elements with ulterior intentions.
Mtu akijua amekosa mahali, ameua, ameiba, anakuja hapa. Na mtu akikaa hapo kwa shimo hataki kutoka. Atatoka shift nyingine, unaona anaomba, anaambia tafadhali shift hii nyingine wacha tu nirudi hapo ndani. Kwa sababu anajua kwa ground juu anatafuta.
Once they struck gold, some of the miners usually abandon their families.
Kama wewe ni mwanaume, umeona umepata pesa, unataka kurundikana wanawake, watoto wanaanza kuteseka. What we do ya mwanaume tunakubana, utatoka hapo.
Once the bags of stones are hauled up to the ground, they are brought to these women to be broken into smaller particles. They are then put on the sun to dry.
Hayo mawe tunapanda tu kwa jua kali hivyo mpaka juu. Na hata nyinyi mjue kwamba hii kazi ni kazi ya kujiajiri. Tumejiajiri, yani na maana kwamba sisi kama tuko kifungoni tayari. Lakini kifungo kizuri ambacho hakikufanyi uibe mali ya mtu au sumbukane watu. Ina maana kwamba utatona nguvu zako unapandisha, wale wenye shimo pia wanapata pasenti yao kidogo na wewe unapata pasenti yako.
The dry chips of stone are then grounded into powder using this stone crusher. The powder is then mixed with water and sieved using this piece of sacks, then carefully picked and the residues washed in this basin with water. No single drop of water is wasted here. All the water drained from this process is stored in this pool for recycling. This lady receives the last container of residues, which she once again mixes with water, adds some mercury and stirs up the mixture for some time as she drains off the water into another container. She does this until the shiny gold particles are trapped in the mercury at the bottom of her basin. The particles are then carefully burnt in a special container to separate the gold from mercury before finding this tiny piece of gold stone. For instance, this tiny stone will fetch about 2,000 shillings.
Gold inauzwa in points mpaka kwa grams. Hapa sana sana wanauza in grams.
This is after the buyer has carried out tests to certify that it is indeed pure gold. A 90-kilogram sack of stone will yield about 2 to 3 grams of gold, a heavy task that indeed requires endurance and determination to complete.
It is true the value of gold is high, and probably that is why most people prefer getting ornaments made of gold. But the process of getting gold here in Rosterman is an uphill task. Dennis Matara, K24 from Rosterman in Kakamega.